So Fiji have made it to the quarterfinals and they will be going head to head with the Irish in one of the most important games for the Fijian 7 side in recent history. Of course, the reigning gold medalists, they want to defend their throne, but first they have to get past the men in green. And in this preview, we'll be looking through at the previous fixtures for these two sides, the key players to watch out for, and then also a prediction at the end of who we think will win this quarterfinal. But we will start with Fiji's recent games. Their first match of the competition, it was up against Uruguay in Pool C, and they did win it 40 points to 12. Now that trend of conceding 12 would continue for Fiji throughout the rest of their games, but scoring themselves 40 points up against an Uruguay side who almost were able to beat France and also at times were competitive up against the USA, I feel like was a massive bonus for the Fijians. Their next game up against the USA, they did win it 38 points to 12. That first half was one of the best halves of Fijian rugby we have seen in a very long time. The offloads were sticking, they were clinical, and there were some really fantastic performances from individual players in that game. Then their last game, the first of day 2, it was up against the hosts France, and you wouldn't have thought it because Fiji, even though the whole crowd were getting behind the French, Fiji were locked in, they were concentrated, and they got themselves the win 19 points to 12, which was a little bit generous in favour of the French, only because they scored that last minute try. But Fiji in that game, looking strong up against a French team. They have been a bit 50-50, but the Fijians remaining undefeated from their group stage fixtures. For the Irish, they were a part of Pool A alongside South Africa, New Zealand and Japan, and of those games, they got themselves the 2 victories. Their first one up against the Blitzboks, winning it 10 points to 5. Now South Africa have also made their way to the quarterfinals, so perhaps if Ireland have a successful game here, or even if they don't, we may see those two sides play off later on in the comp. Their second game was up against the Japanese. It was a big win for Ireland, 40 points to 5. And then their most recent game up against New Zealand, they were defeated 14 points to 12. New Zealand once again getting themselves a last-minute try up against Ireland to stop them from picking up 3 from 3. But something for Ireland that is extremely impressive, they have only conceded 4 tries throughout the Sevens competition so far. The Fijians, they have conceded 6. But both of these sides have shown great abilities of being able to score tries. So I feel like this game stylistically will either be extremely close or one side's just going to absolutely run rampage. But looking through at the players who could run rampage in this game for the Fijians, Celestino Ravatamanda, he was my first pick for the France versus Fiji preview. In terms of the key players, his offload in that last performance up against the French was absolutely phenomenal. Round the back, little flick pass. It's as if he just knows exactly where his team is, and that can be crucial in an important contest like this. You have to make sure that your passes are finding hands, or else that can lead to the opposition getting themselves the interception. Another Fijian to watch out for in this game, I'm going with Josefa Talathola. We saw a lot more of him in the game earlier on up against France. He was having to work extremely hard, just like most of the Fijian team. And then the third player to watch out for Fiji in this contest, I'm going to go with Sevu Mothenothangi. A little bit of a surprise, I guess you could say. Easily could have gone Jerry Tuai, Waisia Natongu, or Sefu Masi, but I've decided instead Mothenothangi later on in this game up against Ireland. I feel like that physicality could actually heavily favour the Fijians for this match. They can't really afford to take their foot off the gas, and they also can't afford to give away possession in the breakdowns, as that is somewhere I believe Ireland will target, trying to get in there, get that turnover, and give themselves a bit more of a fighting chance. But for Ireland, Zach Ward, he is a phenomenal athlete out on the wing, scores tries for fun. For the size of the man, he moves like a sprinter, and he is going to be key for the Irish in this game, alongside Terry Kennedy, who I think is still one of the most dangerous players on the 7 circuit. He hasn't scored as many tries recently, but he has got pure pace. And with the fact that they may not have Jordan Conroy for this game, it makes it even more important for Terry Kennedy to have a standout performance. And then the last man to watch out for, I'm going to go with Mark Roach. I believe more than likely that man will be taking the kicks. Up against a side like Fiji, you can't afford to leave any points out on the field. So we almost need to see 100% accuracy off the kicking tee for Mark Roach, because in that game up against New Zealand, 14 points to 12, those extra 2 points could have been the difference maker. But nonetheless, this game has taken place at 8 AM New Zealand and Fiji time. It's going to be an epic one. Whoever wins this, I think, would put themselves in the box seat to go towards that Olympics gold medal final. Also, I should mention, whoever wins this game will face the winner of USA versus Australia. And then, of course, on the other side of the draw, the winner of New Zealand versus South Africa will face Argentina or the home side France. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Do let me know who you think will be the key player in this contest, and also your score prediction for who you think will win this quarterfinal. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We will be doing the commentary on the channel, so be sure to check that out, and I will see you all for the next one.